I left the UK around 1.5 years ago, and I am so happy that I did that because things were bad as they were at the time, but ever since they seem to be getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And don't take this from me, the UK now has the second most millionaires leaving the country out of any country in the world. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why I'm so happy that I left the UK and why I am never going back. The first one is that I am much wealthier because I left the UK. If you just look at an example of someone earning £300,000 a year, which is obviously a very high income, but at this kind of range in the UK, you will be paying on average 42.5% in income tax. But that's not even including all the hidden taxes or all the other taxes you're having to pay on a daily basis, like the high VATs, property taxes, corporate taxes. Everything is taxed, and with the left-wing government that has come in, these taxes are only going to go up. So if you're a high earner in the UK, the question you need to ask yourself, do you think that there is a better way for you to spend or invest these £172,000 that you would be paying on tax in this example than giving it to the UK government? Now, I'm not against taxes in principle. If the taxes actually really get you something valuable and you actually genuinely think that that's a good allocation of your resources, be my guest. If you're happy to pay, I'm happy for you. But for me personally, I just didn't see the value in all of these taxes that I was paying. And I was looking around in the world because I made an objective analysis of all the countries that are out there. There are places where I can get much more for much less. In fact, today I legally pay 0% tax, and my life is much better in many more ways than just because I'm able to save more money. So how can you reduce your tax by leaving the UK? Well, the first step is going to be to leave the UK tax system. Contrary to what many people think, just because you're a UK citizen doesn't mean that you're going to have to keep paying taxes to the UK if you simply leave the country. Now, you need to do this properly. You need to go through a specific process to become a non-UK resident. And in fact, I made a full video guide on exactly how you can do that. So I will leave that video in the description down below if you're interested. And the next step is going to be to become a tax resident in a lower tax jurisdiction. I myself moved my main residency to Dubai in the UAE, and these days it is the most popular destination for millionaires to move to. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a high earner, then Dubai usually makes the most sense. It's very practical, it's very easy to move there. And if you're looking to move to Dubai specifically, then I actually have a team down below that can help you do that. They can just do the process for you. You can book a call with them and they can help you move forward. The second reason is that I'm just much happier. First of all, we have the weather. The UK has some of the worst weather in the world. I cannot describe to you what a difference it makes to go from having overcast, grey skies, which is grey everything everywhere, cold weather, to now living in places like the Middle East and Asia where it's sunshine every single day. To me, that just affects my happiness so much, and it's probably the biggest quality of life improvement that I've seen. The other one is just the gloomy mentality of the people. The UK is just a very pessimistic place in general. And it's not only after you leave the UK that you realize just how much that affects you. The negative attitudes is just terrible. And then you have the politics. Now, whenever I now see things about politics in the UK, all the elections and all the the nasty fighting that is happening between the two sides, and even more so in places like the US, and I see these things happening, they just give me this really toxic feeling. This I just don't want to see that. So whenever I see that now, I'm just I'm so glad I no longer have to worry about any of that. I can just look at it from afar and just realize just how shambolic the politics are, both parties in both sides of the aisle in a lot of these countries are. And of course, the fact that I am wealthier, the fact that I can build wealth much faster, people say that money doesn't buy happiness, and that is true if you're spending all of your money. But what absolutely does buy happiness is increasing the gap between your net income and your expenses, because I've eliminated the biggest line item of my expenses, which is my taxes, and I've massively reduced my other cost of living expenses as well. And that just gives me so much more peace of mind, which in turn just makes me less stressed and much happier. The third reason is the whole mindset of the UK. Now, I am a very growth-minded, a very optimistic person. I've been on self-improvement my entire life. I'm all about moving forward, improving myself, becoming more successful. and things like this, where the UK nowadays is like the opposite of all of those things. The UK is just a very pessimistic place, a very pessimistic attitude. If you're trying to move forward, if you're trying to do big things, like people are more like trying to pull you down rather than encourage you and push you forward, which always really annoyed me. UK people always love to talk about history, and that is absolutely true. The UK has amazing history, amazing like rich culture, like for like thousands of years. But the thing is, I want to be in places that have a future, not in places that just have a history. The fourth reason is that I am much safer. People in the UK, I don't think they even realize just how unsafe cities in the UK like London are, again, until you leave the place. Like it's just almost a norm there. Like, yeah, we have stabbings every time, like it's not that bad, it's probably not going to happen to you. Like, but with the places where I am now, like Dubai is one of the safest cities in the world. Even Asia, like cities like Bangkok that you would never expect are safer, are statistically like orders of magnitude safer, because what's happening in the UK is that they're importing the third world. It's always been unsafe and it's becoming less and less safe. And again, that's just not the kind of place where I really want to live. And the reason number 5 is dating. This is another thing, is you probably don't realize just how bad the dating scene is in the West until you leave. Like there's a reason why there's a bunch of men who are literally leaving Western countries precisely because dating in places like Asia is so much better. Now, I don't really date in Dubai, it's mainly in Asia, in places like Thailand, in Bali. And of course, there's great women everywhere. Like, it's not that you can't find great relationships. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying on average, the kind of women that you can find in Asia are just better in every imaginable way and by orders of magnitude. In Asia, women are respectful, they are cute, they are just feminine, they're just a pleasure to be around. Whereas in the West, quite often they are combative, they argue, they complain, they're masculine. It's another thing where like anytime I now hear about all the problems of the dating world in the West, the modern dating in the West, I'm just like, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about any of those things anymore, because where I'm dating right now, like it's just so much better, like it's just so great. And all of these things together mean that I am happier, I am wealthier, I have better relationships, and I am much, much freer in just every single way as a result. And if you're looking to leave, I made a full guide which you can watch right here on exactly how you can become a UK tax non-resident, how you can leave the country, where you can go. So watch that video next if you are looking to leave the UK, and follow the steps and you too can have all of these benefits.